Hi, my name is Bobby Shave, and we're going to bring to you a video of Wild Bill Mehlhorn, which is both unique and exceptional to have him on tape. It was done when I was the golf coach at Florida International University back in the mid-70s, and the tape quality isn't all that great, but Mehlhorn is great, and we hope you enjoy the following presentation. Thank you.
Wild Bill Mehlhorn. What a tee shot.
And it's not because you don't know any better. It's because Star mentioned that, so you try to do it. I'm going to take one word to start with. Firm. There's too much firmness in golf anyhow, too much fixation in the game of golf, the way it's been taught. We want movement in this golf club. We want to move it natural. And our own naturalness. Not someone else's. You don't have to be a contortionist to swing this club. All our life, our arms and legs have moved in unison in time with one another. There's no such thing as one-piece action. All those joints move in unison in time with one another. And you cannot pull down and pull through, according to the laws of physics. According to the laws of physics, there's always one force opposite the other and equal to the other. So there's an outward pull of this here club head, there has to be an inward pull. The outward pull will call centrifugal force. The inward pull will call centrifugal force. I try to use the outward pull and inward pull. So if you pull down and pull through with your left arm, you're taking away the inward pull. Now golf is no different than anything else we've done in life that requires movement of muscles and joints. And I don't care whether we walk, run, dance, or swim, or throw a baseball or bat one, or use a mass, or a tennis racket, or ping pong. So as far as I'm concerned, if there is such a thing as a secret in the golf game, and every one of you have used it yourself, you made that remark. Muscles and joints were at ease in their performance. But you said, the best shot I hit easy in such a hole. The longest one I hit easy in such a hole. So your muscles and joints were at ease in their movements. You couldn't hit it easy and hit the ball further. No way. So the most important thing, no matter what you do, is comfort. Muscles and joints at ease in their movement. You'll find out that your elbow and shoulder joint moves in timing the same way at all times. Whether you walk or run, this and this. That's the elbow joint and the shoulder joint. Whether you pick anything up and you throw it or toss it, you'll find out that you'll bend your elbow, you won't keep it straight. You pick something up, your elbow will do this. The shoulder joint will do the swinging. You'll never do it this way. And if you had to use the left hand alone, by itself, whether you've got a hammer in your hand, or a fly swatter, and you want to hit something there, this is what you do. You never do that. I make more use of the left arm the way I teach. And still, the majority, the top-ranked golfer says Mehlhorn does everything right-handed. I don't try to do it right-handed. But my right arm, my elbow, will do more work than the left, if I try to make them work equal. Now, I try to associate a golf swing with everything we've ever done in life that takes movement. Because you have to be your best teacher, not me. You teach yourself how to get this going. Now, when I refer to comfort, I mean comfort. I mean naturalness. I don't mean any habit that you had already formed. That's a hard thing to break. I've been trying to hit a golf ball a certain way. Just like I had a man say to me, you talk about natural. If it's natural for me to grip a club like this, why shouldn't I grip it that way? I said, do you walk around that way? This is natural. That's the way you take hold of the club. Another man says, if this is natural for me to slide with my hips, why shouldn't I keep on sliding? I said, well, go ahead and keep on sliding if you think it's natural. But it isn't natural. There's a revolving action here. It carries this part of our anatomy, which is the body. The body is not the entire anatomy. This is the body. You pick up a baseball and you do this. 9 out of 10 times you stand up and throw it overhanded or side on. And I went through the motion that's supposed to go. You don't have to duck this here shoulder and duck this here shoulder and finish with your back arched. That's not natural. If you had a baseball and you want to do it one-handed, you hit it this way. You would never hit it this way. If you had to toss it in the air and use this here arm, here's exactly what you do. You would never do it this way. That's a sliding action with your legs and hips. I say it's more or less of a spinning action of the hips to hit this golf. As a demonstration, I don't believe a person should do any more than this as they swing their arms. The body remains straight up and down, vertical. Even starting from a lean-in position. If you want to keep on doing it this way, going through a golf ball, go ahead. You can accomplish certain things, but you lose it later on, because that's not natural. See, I believe whether you're tall or short, thin or fat, old or young, you ought to be able to do the same thing. Because we do the same thing when we walk or run. We do the same thing when we throw something. I'll grant as you get older, you may not be able to move as fast. But we do the same thing. And anybody, old or young, thin or fat, can do what I'm doing right now. Because they've done that all their life. Not the way I demonstrated, but they've done that all their life. You'd be standing here chewing the rag with somebody, and all of a sudden someone calls their attention to something over on it here. And they say, come here. So they go this way. It'll be the same way here. So they've done that all their life. They don't give you that. I never forget, I taught a man that started to play golf when he was 70. He said, now remember, I'm not as young as you are. I said, I know that. I said, you may not do it as fast, you may not do it as good. You ought to be able to do the same thing. And before he got through, he says, don't make any difference how old you are, anybody can do this. And he mentioned the fact this way. He said, you step from one foot to the other. You turn on that leg and let the other one go along. I didn't even say that to him. And I've used that ever since. You step from one foot to the other and you turn on it and let the other one go along. You do nothing. Absolutely nothing extra with the other foot that you're off of. And you do nothing with the body, which is this part of our anatomy. It moves for where the legs carry it. all your life preferred shoulder turn. I agree with that. But you don't try to turn the shoulders. The shoulders turn because you turn on one leg and then the other. The motion I'm going to go through right now is not even hitting the golf ball. But the shoulders will turn. If I were to pick up this ball and see how far I can throw it at the same time, I would go this way. This got around because this turned. When I say this, I mean the right hip. And it didn't slide. We come as close to that as possible when we hit this golf ball. We hit a baseball, and particularly one that we tossed in the air and batted fun. Not where you're standing at the plate, because your eyes and head is faced the pitcher. But here you're looking at the ball that you tossed in the air, it's coming down, and you give it this. You will never, and I said never, do this one. That's a sliding action with the hips. And it goes the same way when you bat at the plate. Now I try to say what you do with one hand, your right arm forehanded, your left arm backhanded. You ought to do as close to that possible with both hands holding the club at the same time. At least I know we bat that way. And at least I know we swing an axe the same way. If I had to drive a spike into that end of that shaft, and I got a hold of an axe, this is what I do. I would never do this. You might do that to start with because you'll probably keep what you've been taught in golf. But if you had to stand there and keep on driving spikes, here's exactly what you would do up to this point. And you would never be that way. I'll grant your legs and arms ought to move in timing with one another. And I preach that a great deal. Timing between the legs and arms. As I said before, as the early part, there's too much fixation taught in this golf game. Well, since when does something fixed and movement go together? And again, I say everything is natural. Now you say, well, this is natural for me. I've already repeated it. It's not natural. We've done everything all day long, all our life with these fingers. Never with these, except on a musical instrument or a typewriter. These are the fingers we do it all day long, all our life, from the time we get up until we go to bed. So why is it natural to grip a club with those fingers? Why is it natural for you to swing the golf club with your left arm and left side? If that was the case, I believe every right-hander should have played golf left-handed, so the strong and useful arm would have been in the proper place on the golf shaft. I was only a youngster, and I mean a youngster. I read a lot about golf, but baseball was my love. But I also wanted to do everything the best in golf, because that was my training from my dad. He says, whatever you do in life, be sure you do it better than the next man. Otherwise, don't do it. Take up something else. So I was going to be the best golfer. So I read about your left arm pulling down your left side, pulling the club and so forth. The left arm was the Platonian hand, the right arm was only the passenger. Now, I was 12 years old and I played golf this way. Because I wanted to put my good arm in the right place. I found out that my right arm was too strong. I had to bend it if I want to use it. I found out also that I had to let go with these fingers. I found out I had to do everything from here to here. 75% of the entire work was there. The rest of it was a passenger. You create the feeling in the hand, but you did it with this. When I say this, I refer to the forearm. The arm come into play, and the arm had to move up and down through the entire action and then up again. As the elbow was used, and this had to be out of the way, which was my right arm. And this I'm referring to when I played left-handed. So after 2 years of that, and before I get that far, I played first for the caddy team, left-handed. I won every one of my matches playing other clubs. And after 2 years of playing left-handed, I turned around and played right-handed. I said, I got a good right arm, why should I be playing left-handed? Immediately, I hit the ball 30 yards longer and straighter. Because now I did it exactly the same way as I'd bat a frontal. I didn't try to make either arm control this. Because you got two hands holding the club and you got two arms going to swing it. And you can prove this to yourself. You're playing right-handed. You're going to find out that your right side, your right arm, your right forearm is going to do 75% of the work. And you can prove this to yourself. By forget it's a golf swing, take a club or an axe or a sledgehammer and go through a motion similar to this. And do that 4, 5, 6 times in a row. Find out where the real power is coming from. You say, my elbow, my forearm. I said, which hand do you feel it in? He says, and everybody that I've done that with said the hand, right hand, not the left hand, not the left arm. I said, what part of the hand now? They'll say the thumb and forefinger. I said, reverse your hands and go through the motion this way and see which one does the most work. Immediately they say the left elbow. Immediately they say the left hand. And again, those fingers, not these. So I still say the hand that's closest to the club head counts twice as much as the one that's further away from the club head. As a doctor once said to me when I said that, he says, that's right. He says, you don't take a hold of a pencil up by the eraser, you take a hold of it near the point. And every doctor that operates, he goes down as far on the blade as he possibly can. He doesn't go up at the end of it. So again, the hand that's closest to the club head counts twice as much as the hand away from the club head. And that goes for everybody that plays golf and even those that preach left hand this, left arm that. I have a poem on my business card that I've had almost 50 years, which says similar to that. It was written by Arch Ward, who started the All-Star Games in both baseball and football. It's called the Picture. For 60 years, I've preached that every ball should be opposite the left foot, the left leg. Don't make any difference what club you got in your hand. Today, they're beginning to come to that. Even Hogan, first one that I saw, he had 3 balls down there. The only difference is when you play a shorter shot, the right foot came in. And Hogan didn't do this, or start this until after his accident. That's when he played his great golf. The next one that finally said that was Gary Player on Perry Como show. First year he won the Masters. Perry Como said, "You mean to tell me you play your pitching wedge there too?" He says, "Yes, I found out it was easier with one swing than 14. I thought that was the best answer yet. Doug Sanders. Jack Nicklaus. Snead. Joanne Gunderson. I don't know whether you've seen the advertisement, they sell them at. But Snead and Joanne Gunderson. The hands were behind the golf ball because it was opposite the club head. They weren't ahead of it. And for the drive, feet got that close together. They always brought the right foot in. When you go by the same books, they tell you the ball goes back further. Years ago, I proved it to a bunch of youngsters. Just like you boys right now. They gave me an argument. I said, all right, Mr. Coleman down here. Walk around with Snead, walk around with Hogan, walk around with Byron Nelson, walk around with Jimmy Guerrero, Ray Mangle. I said, don't use one guy. See them play one after another. I showed them how to look at it. I said, if it looks like the ball's in the middle of their feet, see where the ball starts. Start out to the right, hook back to the fairway. The ball is still opposite their left foot, but the direction the ball started in. Now every one of these youngsters finally come back, he says, I didn't make it strong enough. He said they played some shots at the ball that was opposite the toe of their left foot, particularly when they went over a bunker. Particularly bunker shots. They didn't put the ball back. Looks like it's back when they allow for a hook or a draw. That's all. So they actually did and still preached. Each club goes back further. It might appear that way once in a while. Because if I were to stand up there this way with an open stance, but some of them preached, the ball was still opposite the left foot, but it looks like it's back toward the right foot. Just, you gotta learn how to look at things. Because all my life I've associated a golf swing with other things we do in life. Now you think you might be able to imitate certain things in your mind. If I were to tell you to take a hammer, drive a nail, 9 out of 10 times you'll drive one here, but you gotta drive one into the wall too. Now you gotta drive one into the wall down at the base of the wall. I'll assure you, you'll never stand this way to try to drive that in there. Here's where you're gonna be. I'll assure you, you're gonna hit every baseball there. And every baseball player, this is exactly where their left leg is, not the right foot, because I gotta get off it. This is the position. You'll never see a baseball player that way contact. They're in that position. And the right foot will be just exactly like this too. It'll not be like I just held it because I had to give a demonstration. That's why the foot stayed solid. They better tell these home run hitters in baseball they're doing it all wrong. Now for years I've contradicted the theories written by our stars and accepted by the fickle public. Because who are they going to believe? They got to believe the good golfer. So I said to every one of them that I've ever taught, I said, well, why don't you play left-handed so your strong arm will be in the right place? If you're going to do it with your left side, playing right-handed. Again, I repeat, I don't contradict one thing that they actually do, but I contradict what they think they do, what they feel that they're doing. The feel is a result of an action. And since when do we have fixation? Again, I repeat that word. When we want movement. Even an article that appeared in the paper only says Sunday. On Friday, Jack Nicklaus. I agree with about 85% of the things that he says. Because it's absolutely repeat what I've said. He said you can't let go with your left hand at the top of the swing. He says otherwise you lose control of the club. And as a demonstration, here's what he shows. Now I'll even only put that finger on there. This is as far as I can swing it. This doesn't take place until my left arm is pushing away while my right arm is trying to come closer to me. So you got one hand working against the other. Because if you had to swing one-handed, here's as much as you bend your wrist. If you had to swing it this way, this is as much as you bend your wrist. Without the help of this, you can't do that. This does that. Now you let it work this way. They're working together. Now they're not working together. And also when you, I call it a cup. In this wrist, you've changed that face of the club relative to your body, which is wrong. Now to a certain point, every one of us is built almost alike. We get two hands, we get two arms, we get two elbows, we get two shoulder joints, we get two legs, knees, and so forth. We get away from the fixation, and we learn to have timing, coordination, arms and legs move in unison with one another. Not one against the other. And that goes from the beginning of a short putt to a short chip, a pitch shot, a drive. And we got to learn to walk before we can run. And before we learn to walk, we had to crawl. This goes also in golf. And I'm going to say this to every one of you. You can do your best if you don't use all your force. That doesn't mean we're going to be lazy. We have to require muscles and joints to ease in their movements. As Harry Varden said to me in 1921, when I first played in the British Championship and represented the United States in the team match over there, 1921, he said to me after we got through, he said, if I were you, I would never try to hit the ball as hard as you try to hit it, because you can drive the ball as far as anybody I've ever seen. But I wouldn't do it because you'll never be a great golfer. So I said, well, how hard should I try to hit the ball? He said, this way. He said, use 2/3 and no more than 3/4 of your effort at any time. Now I've come to this, along with them. Because I came back to this country, and that's the way I finally worked. I even shortened my golf clubs, so I couldn't use so much power. I say you work around your natural tempo. Everybody has a different tempo. The tempo is how fast do we walk, how fast do we talk, how fast do we eat, how fast do we work. Everybody does it in a different speed. That's tempo. Some fellows associate tempo with coordination. It's got nothing to do with coordination. Tempo is how fast you move. You can see all our great golfers today, every one of them. Palmer walks fast, he talks fast, he eats fast, and he plays fast. Julius Boris looks like he's going to sleep when he walks. When he talks, too. That's the way he plays golf. And still hit the ball the same distance. You go take our longest hitter in the game today or any day, was George Bear. He looked like he was slower than anybody playing, and he hit the ball the longest. Because you need fluidness in golf. Now I said the most important thing his muscles and joints at ease in their performance. I said the next thing, I didn't say it then, but I will now, is being fluid. Fluid isn't just liquid, because if you use liquid, pour it pours smoothly. There's no jerk, no snap, no punch, no hit to it. That's a fluid action. Because otherwise they better change the term swing. The swinging action is smooth, fluid. There's no jerk, no snap, no punch, no hit to it. Even the swing that a child sits on or you sit on going back and forward, it's moving as fast as there, but it never moves with a quick action. Because that breaks your timing. Going back to the fellow who appears to swing the club the slowest of anybody is Julius Boris. You watch him hit a pitch shot under 100 yards. Looks like he slows the club down through the contact. I said he looks like it, but he doesn't. Just like a remark that I make regarding myself in my tournament golf. Although it doesn't happen, I felt like I uppercutted every ball. That means hitting the ball on the upswing. I didn't hit the ball on the upswing, but it felt that way. Okay, that's the result of an action. Because in the first place, I don't believe it should hit down at a ball. Any ball. The only thing that takes place with hitting down at the ball is going to be shorter and lower. I talk about backspin. The ball is lower, it won't stop as fast as the ball is a little higher. I think the bottom part of your arc should be at the bottom part of this golf ball. And not only that, they spend thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars to get the golf course in shape. To me, it's a crime. See somebody go there. And come out here and day after day. See those divots out there. Sometime or other, our stars have said that too. If you want to play golf with Harry Bud, you just cut that grass here. Club never did any more than this in the golf on the ground. Never a divot. You know, you hit the ball straighter than anybody I've ever seen hit. I try to copy it. I'll take a divot occasionally. I don't intend to. But I try to cut the grass with the ball sets.
I didn't do anything. Go ahead.
You got it? Take these tees, for example. Just try to hit that tee without hitting the ground. Almost in continual action. Why can't you do that here at this golf ball? You got strength of mind, you can do it. Hit this golf ball the same way as you take the grass with you cut grass. You don't dig up the ground. You get that grass up and it's supposed to cut green. First you put one ball back here and the next one up there, you got a different swing. You want to put them all in the same place. Catches the ball and tosses the ball and you toss it in the air to the right fielder. Line drive to the second baseman. Grounder to the third baseman. Take a different action, but you don't think what you do, how you do it, or when you do it. You have to visualize the flight of the ball that you're going to hit. Your subconscious mind performs the muscles to act to do that. That's the way I play golf. I don't make any change. You're hitting a moving object, you ought to be able to hit a stationary one. You should have that control of yourself. Take an axe or a hammer, drive a nail in the wall. Lower. Lower. You did exactly the same thing through here. This changed a little bit and the path of the arms changed a little bit. But you did exactly the same thing. And you never started that way to get accuracy. Because immediately you got one hand working against the other and one arm working against the other. Now you got both working together. The only difference is you haven't got to follow through. That's why you use baseball, because we all have to follow through. Never work around anything fixed. That baseball certainly isn't fixed. And our movement certainly isn't fixed. And again, you go through naturalness. Now when you take a hold of this here golf club, that's the way you ought to take a hold of it. It never comes up this way. It never comes down this way. It never comes down this way. The two joints work in timing. That's what we do hitting the scuff. If you throw a baseball, your arm doesn't stay that way. It does that. Even the baseball players have to be off balance and off timing and everything else, and they manage to get that ball to first base with a quick action. Some of the fielding shots is phenomenal. Now, I'm really going to explode the theory in the game. As long as I can remember seeing the Olympics, it goes back quite a few years. Every 4 years they break the new world's record, doing this and that and that. Someplace I got it written down. Things like the hammer throw, the discus, the shot put is almost twice as big today as it was 60 years ago. Why hasn't golf improved that much? Now, they worked to become better in athletics, better training, and everybody got a little bit bigger. They got just as fast, or almost as fast. They did nothing that was unnatural. We'll even take the hammer throw and they wouldn't believe it possible. If you could spin that fast, you'd hit that ball 4 miles. Of course, that's an exaggeration. But you won't do it this way. Because where's the centripetal force there? Go out after the ball. Again, you're taking away the centripetal force, the inward pull. There must be something wrong with our golfers. He says, oh, they're scoring lower. I said, forget the score. They don't hit as many greens. They don't hit as many fairways as they used to hit. Because you hit it all over the place now and knock the next one on the green and all birdies. Years ago, you got out of the trouble with one shot. It was a miracle. Take the green itself. They never cleaned the ball on the putting green. They never fixed the ball mark on the putting green. If the ball mark was in your way, you just pitched over it. And even in my day, they played the ball that was embedded on the putting green. Now they pick up a ball any place on the golf course, embedded, they can drop it if it isn't a hazard. They don't do that. So the very first tumbles come up after I made this remark about how many fairways they missed was the PGA Championship in Washington. I said, those that you see on TV, there'd be 40%, 4 out of every 10 men, 10 tee shots, he's going to be off the fairway. Well, everybody come to me afterward that I made that remark was better than 50%. And I said, you see, 35 to 40% missing the greens. And again, they come to me, they said it's better than 50%, but they still don't shoot above par. I want to see him hit the ball off of the fairway years ago and stuff like that over there. I want to see him make a birdie. It might take him 2 shots to get back on the fairway. Most of the time, a guy reaches in his back pocket and tee up another golf ball, play 3 off the tee. Because you know you weren't going to hit it. As Alex Smith used to say, I want to see these young fellas play golf years ago. They knocked the ball off the fairway and they tried to play it. It'll take them a shot to cut enough grass away so they can get the next one out. It might take them 2 shots to cut enough grass away, or hay. Don't let the score fool you. We even made all the rules easier for you to score. I think the average person should work on comfort, work on muscular ease, and try to swing that club as smooth, as fluid as you possibly can. You don't have to squeeze this here golf club, because the club will stay in your fingers and in your hand if you did that. And every one of you has done this sometime or other. The faster you swing it, the more it stays in your hand. And pull against this pull. So you don't have to squeeze a golf club. This club is balanced. To move a certain way, don't move it any other way. When I say it's balanced to move a certain way, it's balanced to move this way. It is not balanced to move this way. It is not balanced to swing it upright. It's balanced to move it this way. It's natural to move your arm that way. Now, this face of the club is going to be the same as the palm of my right hand. And it goes for every golfer that grips a golf ball. The left hand may be over that far, the left hand may be there, the left hand may be there, and it may be there. The right hand is this way. Still this here man, every one of you folks talk about left hand. Stays this way relative to your body no matter where you move it. It never does that, and it never does that. This is natural. Flap your hands down here and do the same thing. Move it longer and keep your arms straight. The palm of your hand is still the same way relative to the body. Bend your elbows, they do the same thing. They'll never close the face of the club, which turns the palm down. That's unnatural. This is natural. That goes for both sides of the swing. And everybody, and I said everybody, you finally stick the left hand down here and swing this no matter where you want, and meet there. Why can't you do that with just fingers crossed? That's going to control the flight of that golf ball. Nothing else. There's a supernating action and a pronating action that takes place in golf. We don't try to put it in there. Because both of these actions stay in the golf swing. That one and this one. Your arms are working independent. You do not have the body hold the arms. Stays in the golf swing. The guy that hit a baseball and tried to do this, well, he'd be the biggest strikeout artist in the world. His arms aren't moving independent. Now you cut those 2 1/2 and here's the golf swing. Doesn't make any difference. I still say you hit this ball like you hit a baseball. Now you might say that I mentioned this, but I didn't. Now I'll step away from fall exactly the same way as we hit a baseball. Exactly the same way as we hit a baseball. The first action in every ball is perfectly close. Get off this time. Yes. Nothing. Nothing. But judgment and naturalness gives you accuracy. Take a hammer to drive a nail, you don't keep your elbow straight. You pick the hammer up here and you drive the nail over there. And you can drive the nail over here. You didn't measure it. Sure, we measure this. But this is the worst action I've ever seen. Worst measurement I've ever seen. In the first place, the man that starts this here way, his left hand is way over, strong right hand grip, he slices the golf ball and tops it. Not once, 99 out of 100 shots. Because why? This shoulder is approximately 4 to 6 inches further away at contact than it is when it starts. So if he's got the full measurement now, and he's there, where's he going to be? I can teach anybody to play golf if they use their elbows. Because in fact, that's the most important joint that we have in our entire anatomy. Because we can't even feed ourselves without using the elbow. Unless we want to eat like an animal. We've got to bend the elbow in order to get our hand to our mouth. And we do it all day long, all our life, to comb our hair, to wash our face, brush our teeth, eat. Yes. And the first move, everything we do all day long, all our life, with the hand, first move is to bend the elbow. Now keep your elbow straight, don't let it collapse. That's against movement, that's fixation. And again, I'll repeat. Left-handed, this arm, with a hammer, this is what you do. Now if you want to move it further, you move your legs. Your legs and arms ought to move in unison and timing with one another. There's no such thing as a one-piece action. And they even use it. One of his articles, Nicholas says, he says, starting the club back, he says, I try to start it back in one piece, so that all the other pieces work. Proper sequence. That was it. So that's a contradiction, isn't it? We talked about one piece, but all pieces work in proper sequence. That's a contradiction. I said the reason he probably says that, he's afraid to contradict all the stars. They say one piece action. I'll grant a picture shows up that way. For example, take this action. Watch a motion picture of that, here it is. Never looked like they're doing that. Because I'm going to take this back the same way, take a baseball bat now. Do the same identical thing. You use it bigger or shorter. And all swings are identical. Excepting for the distance and the speed in which you move. Fellas says, oh, I pivot too far. No one can pivot too far. In no way. It's But you can't turn in further than that. Can't turn in further than that. I can do this. That's a twisting action. We don't want to have any torque in our body. Because I've said this, said it for 60 years. The spine was never made to do any bending or twisting except sufficient for its own protection. Your shoulders turn as far as where the hips turn. And the shoulders may be rounded a little bit like that, but the spine isn't twisted. And if you twist your spine, you leave yourself open to injure yourself. And even there's an article on it. I think Steve brought one to Bob. I got a laugh at it. The torque of the body. I'll grant years ago everybody turned their hips a great deal. They use their legs a great deal. They're saying that the legs can create the power now, but they could say this way. Everybody's legs create the power this way. You shouldn't even have to try to put that in there. That should take place. And I believe a golf ball is struck something like that. Or as close to that as possible. As the arms go up, down, and then up. And there's no such thing as pivoting too far. Bobby Jones pivoted further than anybody I've ever seen. There's a picture of Spalding's, and it's sit there in your store, a little bit bigger than life size, of Jones at the top of the swing. Taking it this angle. His right ankle's to where he's gone. You couldn't see any part of the right side of his body. That's what he was. And years ago I said Jimmy Thompson had the second biggest pivot. I had the third. And I'd stress pivot more than anybody. See, Nicholas said your shoulders can't help but turn if you turn your hips. And he says, I use my hips in a spinning action. Now, spinning action is that way. It's not this way. And again, in another article, he says he points the right knee toward the hole and leads it there. Now, how can you pivot? Another contradiction. He doesn't realize it's a contradiction. Maybe if you point it out to him, he will. But that's definitely a contradiction. He also states, years ago, everybody turned their shoulders further and turned their hips further than anybody. Today, they only turn their hips halfway. Maybe that's the reason they're so wild. Because I'll assure you, if you want to hit a baseball, and you toss a baseball in the air, your hip will do this. If you want to hit it further, your hip will do this. If you want to hit it still further, you'll do this. Sure, the body moves. But you don't try to move the body. Again, I repeat now, this is the body. The legs carry it. The legs revolve it. Now, it may be advisable sometimes to do certain things, to try to hit this here golf ball, certain things if you want to get certain timing and so forth, move the proper part of your anatomy. But if you did what you intended to do and planned it, you're still accomplishing something. So don't always take the bad shot as though you didn't do it right. Because you can only think of a couple of things at a time. I'd hate to tell you how many golf shots I have hit myself. I want you to watch my knees. And again, the feet. I'm not going to hit this big. I'm even going to hit it lighter than the shot I just got through playing. But I want you to watch my knees and feet. And I'd hate to tell you how many hundred shots I've hit this one. There's hardly any arm action. All knees.